Hey there, welcome back to the Energy MD podcast. So glad that you're joining me here today. So I'm really excited because, as you know, we are on a mission to help 1 million people resolve their fatigue, long COVID, MCAS, and MECFS. And we're doing that by looking at all of the deficiencies and all the toxins that are present. So one of the things that can really help, which we haven't talked about yet on this podcast, is cannabis. So today we're talking about with the expert, Dr. Kogan, who is also a very good friend of mine. We've known each other since medical school. So let's learn a little bit about him today. So Dr. Kogan is a leader in the newly established field of integrative geriatrics. He is the chief editor of the first definitive textbook of the field entitled Integrative Geriatric Medicine, published by Oxford University Press as part of Andrew Weil Integrative Medicine Library Series, and is a frequent speaker at a variety of international conferences on the topics of integrative medicine, geriatrics, healthy aging, as well as medical cannabis. While Dr. Kogan's main medical cannabis expertise is in treating older patients and palliating symptoms at end of life, he also treats a wide range of internal medicine problems from chronic GI problems to cancers, where use of medical cannabis can be very beneficial. In October 2021, Dr. Kogan, in collaboration with Dr. Joan Liebmann-Smith and Penguin Random Publishing House, published Medical Marijuana, Dr. Kogan's evidence-based guide to the health benefits of cannabis and CBD. You'll see both of those books on my shelf. Dr. Kogan currently serves as medical director of the George Washington Center for Integrative Medicine, associate professor of medicine in Division of Geriatric and Palliative Care, and Associate Director of the Geriatrics and Integrative Medicine Fellowship Programs and co-host of GW Integrative Medicine podcast. Whew, that's a lot. Dr. Kogan, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Well, Evan, thanks so much. Love the mission. I think it's actually there's way more people than 1 million who have all these problems, but
this is true.
I love the number. It's a good goal.
I gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, fascinating topic. And I when we periodically get a hold of each other and chat and stuff. And I realized that, of course, cannabis does not directly treat fatigue. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. But it can address so many issues, which in themselves then can lead to the fatigue improvement, and we'll go over it in details. But yeah, I think it's a tool, and let's jump right in.
Yeah,
I know you have a lot of questions.
I do. So let's start at the beginning. So why cannabis? What made you get into this field?
Oh, yeah, well, that was a by random stunt for sure. Like, I was in the middle of DC, got a medical cannabis approved in 2010, and in 2012 they started dispensing. I started having tons of patients coming to me and saying, "Hey, doc, like, I smoked back then at my prime, and now I have this pain and this and that, and what do I do? And I went and tried, and it works, and now I want you to write me an order." And I was like, order? Yeah, anyway, so I had to sort of learn a lot of things. And then when I served as a board member at the American Board of Integrative Medicine, I met Donald Abrams, who's kind of a grandfather of the whole field. So he was one of the first researchers looking to benefits, not just at side effects. The original research in cannabis could only be done looking at side effects. And then, well, because it's this controlled Schedule 1 substance, so you can't really use federal dollars for studying benefits. That's in fact still a problem. But Donald was studying side effects and started reporting all kinds of benefits: the nausea, the vomiting, and this is like we're talking about HIV/AIDS, people dying, no effective treatment tools, and suddenly there's a paper on cannabis. So this was like one of the first US studies on benefits. And so I got to talk to him multiple times, became close friends. And he sort of like, you got to learn this stuff. You're in geriatrics. It's a critical tool. You got to learn it. So I said, okay. So long story short, I kind of started learning this. And then one of my patients connected me with her dear friend, Joan Liebmann-Smith. And they said, look, she's a professional writer. First, we were going to write a book on aging. We went to Joan's agent, and the agent was like, forget it. Nobody cares about this topic, which of course she's wrong, but she's like, oh, but Kogan has an expertise in cannabis. Let's write a book about that. So we did. Yeah, I think the book is great. I think it's very entertaining and very case-based. I think listeners to this podcast probably going to get a lot of benefit from it, because in the many parts of in many chapters that talk about different medical conditions, we touch upon fatigue as a result of improvement of other things. And so I think it's a very useful book, and it also covers some critical basics. So with that, I think let's talk a little bit about just like a basics of what cannabis is, right? And then sort of why is it important, or how does it interact with us, right? So we have our own cannabis system. We call it endocannabinoid system. Interestingly enough, in patients with chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, there is now, I wouldn't say conclusive, but close to conclusive evidence that endocannabinoid system is disrupted. There is a famous, like probably #1 cannabis expert in the world, Ethan Russo, who basically coined this term endocannabinoid tone, which what it means is that if your tone is not normal, so if you don't produce enough your own cannabis internally, you're going to start having problems. And so one of the definitive problems seems to be related to this lack of tone of endocannabinoid system is fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome. Now, it's not really clear exactly what the trigger to this is, like, well, why is this happening? I mean, I think you can arguably say, well, it depends on the cause of chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. You and I, of course, know it's like a waste basket, and there's probably 20 conditions inside of that entity itself. So it's not true diagnosis, it's just a label. But nonetheless, it does seem to be consistent that no matter who the patient is, there is some dysregulation of endocannabinoid system, whether it's a low tone or what. I think it's less clear, but the dysregulation is there. So the idea of use of cannabis for fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue has been around for a long time. And we'll talk about evidence in a bit, but the idea that you can take an exogenous substance and then modulate your own endogenous production and substitute, for the lack of a better word, what's lacking within exogenous makes a lot of clinical sense and practical sense, and it seems to work. So we have these molecules that are basically, it's like a key and a lock model. So you have a molecule, let's say everybody's familiar with anandamide. The second most common is something called 2-AG, but there's actually a lot more. And then that's the key. And then it gets into the lock of a receptor, whether it's CB1 or CB2 receptors, so-called cannabinoid receptors. And then something happens. So there's some kind of a trigger happens, then you have an enzymatic activity that follows, something is made after that trigger happens, and then the molecule that was a lock gets broken by the enzyme because it's no longer needed. So it's made on demand. So that's like in 30 seconds, your elevator speech for what is endocannabinoid system. And it seems like that it regulates primarily like 4 or 5 key domains of our functioning. So one is the sleep. So if you don't make enough cannabinoids, you're not going to be able to fall asleep. One is the response to trauma. So when in the moment of trauma, the cannabinoid system is dramatically upregulated, and then when you're out of that scare, you're out of the traumatic experience, the tone begins to decline. This is, by the way, why cannabis has been used for many decades for PTSD successfully, and only in the last couple of years it's becoming more and more standardized for that. The third is this kind of the eating. I think that's pretty self-explanatory for a lot of people, because our appetite, I mean, people who use cannabis quite know what the munchies are, right? You smoke your joint, and the next thing you know, you're eating an entire refrigerator. So that's because that's what the system's supposed to do, right? But if you overstimulate it, you will be eating more. And the fourth one is the pain regulation, which is, again, that pain closely affiliated with the whole idea of the trauma and well, it's trauma and stress. I should go back for a second. So it's trauma and stress. The cannabinoid system seems to regulate both, and they intertwine quite closely. And then the pain is kind of intertwined with trauma and stress in the many ways, the way the cannabis operates. There are lots of other components, but the interesting aspect is, for example, we all think of, when we think of pain, we think of endorphins, right? We think about endogenous morphine or opioid system. Turns out that the cannabis controls it. so our endogenous endocannabinoid system controls the response of endogenous opioid system. It basically stimulates it to get triggered to correctly address the pain, to sort of the block or enhance, depending on what's happening. Depends on a stimuli. And so interesting aspect is also that we do know now that diseases can manifest at every step of dysregulation of the endocannabinoid system. It can happen because you don't make enough 2-AG, and that often can produce some bad responses to trauma. So PTSD is thought to maybe related to 2-AG dysregulation. You know, if you disrupt the receptor, you can have some really serious issues, like the mice models of Alzheimer's disease or osteoporosis, which are used. They're actually disrupting the receptors, the cannabinoid receptors, and then they will apply some treatment methods to see what works. And then in an enzymatic activity, so like the late stage Alzheimer's disease, patients have the enzyme that breaks down cannabinoids for whatever reason hyperactivated. It's not fully understood, but that's really interesting. So we know that dysregulations can happen in any part of the system. What we don't fully understand, or actually probably don't understand at all, how some of these components then fit into the other pathways of the body. Like, okay, so it regulates stress response, but how is it then fully linked into the cortisol system and HPA axis? There's some partial understanding, but incomplete. And you look wherever, like, for example, how is cannabis kills cancer cells? Because it does. Almost every cancer cell the cannabis can kill. But how does it actually happen? So we do know it's an apoptotic signaling. So you put cannabis in a petri dish, you put the cancer cells and they die because there's some signaling to self-programmed death that occurs. But what exact mechanisms of this and what do you do to activate that for cancer patients? Nobody knows, right? So there's this whole idea that cancer should be cured with cannabis. You Google it and it's everywhere. But the reality is there's only like 2 or 3 clinical studies showing some possibility. But so there are a lot of missing points, but clinically we though apply cannabinoids for all kinds of things. So I guess let's talk about that.
Yeah, and specifically energy. So how can cannabinoids or cannabis for that matter, and just so our audience knows, what's the difference between medical marijuana and medical cannabis?
Yeah, that's a great idea. So, well, the terms actually completely interchangeable. I think the cannabis is a botanical term, right? So it's not a term that defines what you're going to do with it. It's just a term that describes the plant. Cannabis sativa is actually the only plant, whether you're talking about hemp, whether you're talking about any kinds of varieties of cannabis, it's all the same plant. Now, we used to think like indica versus radialis versus sativa. That's all turns out to completely incorrect. It's just the sativa, and then everything else is variants, and then there's some bigger differences between, say, sativa and indica. The word marijuana came to be from in the 30s when Aslinger decided that he needed money for his newly established Bureau of Narcotics, which is now, of course, we call DEA. And they needed something. They needed to blame all the problems to get budget. So they said, well, let's take cannabis, let's give it a brand name, which came to be marijuana. Nobody fully understands how that term came to be, actually. It's thought to be from Mexican Spanish, but the actual exact history is unclear. And so it's stuck. And the problem now is there's a big push to kill the word marijuana, but I think a lot of us, myself included, feel strongly that shouldn't happen because we have such a bad history of a racial segregation and such a big historic precedent. If we remove it, we're probably going to forget what happened. That basically the government of the United States used cannabis as a racial segregation tool, arresting whoever they wanted it, while whites were just smoking left and right and nothing was happening. So, if we completely move to the correct term, which from botanical perspective makes sense, but, we don't want to forget the history. So I think both words going to stay, I hope. So in essence, there is no difference. There is a difference, though, if you're talking about recreational use of I'm going to use both words periodically. So recreational use of marijuana versus medical use of cannabis, right? So it's not just an intent that's different. What's different is typically concentrations and dosing. recreationally, people tend to mostly use inhaled products, whether it's a smoking or vaping. And people do use recreationally gummies, of course, but they tend to use much higher dose often. Medically, the dosing is variable, highly variable. In medical terms, I'm going to introduce a concept that's critically important. That's a concept of J-curve. And I'm going to go back and forth to this concept several times. So the J-curve is when you start treatment with a subtherapeutic doses. So you know that in the first week or two of applying cannabinoids to a patient, they're not going to have effect. They're going to adapt their receptors to a slow, gradual increase, so that when they start getting to the right dosing, that they can pick it up. Because if you undershoot, it's not going to work. If you overshoot, it's not only not going to work, it may worsen the condition they already have. So if you take too much THC, for example, it can cause insomnia. But if you take just that right dose, it'll be most effective treatment for your insomnia that I can offer to any of my patients, generally, like 80 to 90% response rate when it's done right. So that J curve is start low, go slow, and gradually get to that sweet spot, and then don't miss it. That's really the core principle. Probably because that's what our body does. So our body will inevitably secrete as much cannabinoids as needed, because in the moment it's constantly regulated up and down, and then when you no longer need it, it gets quickly broken down. When you take a recreational or medical, regardless, you typically take a lot more. So you can't break it down quickly enough. And so you end up overdosing. And this is probably just as common of a problem as underdosing or taking simply wrong preparations. So yeah.
So thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit about energy. So how does cannabis affect energy? Is it mitochondria? Is it hormones?
Right.
What's it doing?
Right. So it's very complex, actually. The key there, I'll give a couple of specific points. The key first point to understand is what's called neuroexcitation. So quite often what in our day-to-day, right? So when we're talking, there's a certain degree of neuroexcitation that happens. It takes a certain amount of energy on mitochondrial level, on every level, actually, on psychological level, on any level. And so endogenous cannabinoids downregulates excitation. So if your brain is on fire, for example, because of whatever the illness is, and whether it's anxiety, depression, Lyme, anything, mold, if your brain is overexcited, then cannabis can be effectively down-regulating that. And that can give you a pretty significant amount of energy boost if all of your energy is wrapped up around sort of keeping that neuroexcitation in check. So that's a first critical cellular effect. You have blocking of neuroexcitation, of course, primarily in the central nervous system, primarily in the brain. It can downregulate the pain. So pain can be a dramatic consumer of the energy. Right? We all know that patients with chronic pain tend to be very down energy-wise. And I don't actually know whether it's mitochondrial, you probably know better, or if it's just a systemic impact because your energy is wrapped up into this kind of psychology of pain, if you will. But it definitely can help with that. And then I mentioned sleep. In the actual practice, the sleep always comes first, because the patients who come to me, and let's just take your typical, I don't know, let's take a mold patient or MCAS patient, right? And so the insomnia becomes, I don't know, it's not 100%, but maybe 2/3 of all the patients going to have some sleep disturbances. Now, they may not have severe sleep disturbances, but it still contributes to everything, including fatigue. The reason we take sleep first is because it's so effective that there's nothing else come close. The standard of care, cognitive behavioral therapy and all that, it's like a child's play. The efficacy may be there, but it's maybe 30–50%. You have to go through multiple rounds of consultations, and it's often hard to find sleep cognitive behavioral therapists, and sometimes it's not covered, and it's slow. And the beauty of cannabis, once the dose hits the right point, 80–90% response rate within a couple of days. Wow. And it's often complete resolution of your sleep problems once and for all. And moreover, you take that for a few months to begin to taper off, and quite often it fixes the problem permanently. Sometimes people have to go back and forth. Sometimes it stops working. There is some potential dependence, but generally in that beginning of a honeymoon period, it gives people such a significant improvement in sleep that inevitably they come back a couple of months later and say, you know what, my energy is 50% better just because I sleep so much better. So that's the first thing that happens energy-wise. I think the second is the pain, which I described. The third is most fascinating one. Cannabinoids, and that's the hardest topic. Cannabinoids have probably one of the top, maybe 5, maybe more tools that I have for inflammation. I mentioned Lyme. So there is a whole idea that you can treat Lyme with high dose cannabinoids, and not necessarily because they are going to directly kill the Lyme. I don't think that's going to, well, there are actually some antibacterial property of several cannabinoids, but they're very important anti-inflammatory factors when applied correctly. There are antivirals too. So the idea that the CBDA and CBGA were used, are still used as a COVID prophylaxis is direct. It's a direct antiviral effect. So let's say somebody does have some chronic something, whether it's mono or zoster or whatnot, you can actually apply it directly. It's an antiviral. The last point is immune modulation. I didn't mention that. So the cannabinoids tend to be a pretty potent immune modulators. So the second set of receptors, the CB2 receptors, present very heavily in an immune system, particularly in macrophages. So it's actually quite well established. If you stimulate those receptors correctly, you're going to boost your antimicrobial and antiviral impact. I think against bad bacterial infections, it's not going to do anything. But for chronic low-grade viral infections, it seems to be quite effective. So I typically treat topical zoster and topical herpes now, first line with topical cannabinoids, just because low cost, no side effects, highly effective. In fact, in the book, I talk about this. I had a chronic herpes on my lips for like, every winter it will flare up. It'll cause me like have a crack in the corner of a mouth when I go skiing or whatnot. This was probably 10 years ago now. So a friend of mine who kind of got me on this, Beth Hayes, kind of one of the early adopters, what we call them canna coaches or canna hackers. Well, we don't say that anymore because everybody canna hackers at this point if you're using your own. But so she gave me this little chapstick that was 100 milligrams of THC, and like in the 4 weeks after, like I applied it twice a day. That's it. I haven't had a single flare since. Wow. It's been 10 years now. Yeah, so tons of different effects, and actually for the patients with the chronic COVID now we're seeing. I was just doing the group today, and we just got to talk about this, that some patients are using cannabinoids for chronic COVID and seeing some really interesting results. And I don't think that that's because it somehow suppresses virus directly, but it definitely changes something in the immune system that sort of helps to decrease inflammatory response, and kind of modulating that then helps people to feel less fatigue.
It sounds like it's a little bit similar to LDN, low dose naltrexone, in terms of its ability to modulate the immune system. Would you say it is similar? How is it dissimilar?
I think it's very similar from the kind of the way you just said it, with this broad idea, right? I think it's different in the sense that, when you take exogenous cannabinoids, you're interacting with the cannabinoid system. When you take LDN, you're interacting with endorphin system, right? So you're upregulating endorphins. But the end product, so you can upregulate endorphins, you can upregulate the cannabinoid system, but the effect, being an anti-inflammatory effect, seems to be similar. I actually think that in general, and the cannabinoid system is much more important than the endorphin system, because endorphins mostly regulate just pain. Okay, well, that's not true. They also regulate peristalsis of the gut and some other things. But for most part, when somebody thinks about endogenous opioid system, they're just thinking about pain. Now, if you take the cannabis, you have to think about like half a dozen of things. You have to think of the anxiety, you have like your emotional balances, sleep, pain to some degree, for sure, nausea, and like your appetite, so the GI tract. So it's a lot more diverse impact on our body. And historically, I'll throw that in as another kicker here. It seems that the cannabinoid system is much, much older than endorphin system. If you look throughout the species, pretty much any animal has it. And the endorphin systems is much more, in terms of historic evolutionary appearance, is much newer system. Not every animal out there has opioid receptors and doesn't produce endogenous opioids. So it's, you know, it's more of a kind of a higher animals. So there's also like evolutionary principle there at play that's much older system.
So let's go deeper into sleep, because I'd love another tool to help my folks sleep. So what do we need to know about cannabinoids in sleep? Which CBD, CBG, whatever different form are we looking at? What is the dosing? Give me some of the practical stuff that you like to do.
So the interesting aspect that there's no clear, like, okay, it's this way or my way, like it's just one way, right? So no, I'll give you a couple of two different ways of looking. There's the one camp of people in our field who like really strongly think that everybody should be taking just CBD for sleep because the THC can actually disrupt sleep. I 100% agree with that. Take enough THC and you're going to be up all night. Like you know, it actually, interestingly, that those are the patients that generally have some kind of a dopaminergic deficiencies, like the attention deficit folks who have like the OCD tendencies, folks who are like me, rapid tokers. So you give them THC and you rev them up more. So they may end up, that may not be a good tool for them, but I'll come back to that in a second. So those are the camp who says, give enough CBD at night and everybody fall asleep. So basically very dose dependent. The bad news for those who believe in CBD theory that it's best for sleep, you often have to give a crazy doses. We're talking about 2, 3, 4, 500 milligrams at bedtime. Practically, unless insurance covers Epidiolex for you, which is Epidiolex is a GW pharmaceutical drug, which is a pure CBD, 100 milligrams per milliliter. So if somehow your insurance can cover it, and often it does, I've actually been using Epidiolex off-label increasingly more because I see more insurances paying for it. So then no problem. You can take 2, 3, 4 milliliters and it will work just great. But if you're buying CBD online, you know, let's say it's really hard to find 100 milligrams per milliliter. But let's say you found something like 25 or 50 milligram per milliliter, you're going to be paying hundreds of dollars a month for that. So it's going to be very pricey. The THC for sleep and CBN for sleep, right? That comes up all the time. The CBN for sleep, no evidence, no clinical evidence. Anecdotally works. Generally, my preferred way, and in certain way, that's one of my mentors, Dustin Sulak, who's kind of a big name in the cannabis field. He's, by the way, has a great book. It's called Handbook of Cannabis Clinicians. It's more for docs, so it's not. It's more for doctors, not for me necessarily for your listeners, but still, it's a great book. So he talks about just low dose THC, you know, and so the way I do this, I tend to mix low dose THC with a little bit of CBD or CBN. So what I put in my book, it's 1-to-1 CBD to CBN or THC to CBD or THC to CBN. And you just start with like 1 or 2 milligrams, maybe 30 minutes at bedtime as a dropper. Then you slowly titrate, get your sweet spot, calculate amount of milligrams. Usually it'll end up between 5 to 10 milligrams on average. Some really sensitive people could be at 2 or 3 milligrams, but most people will fall between 5 to 10. You're going to have some outliers at 20 or even higher. So once you get to that dose, then you can actually take something that's longer acting, because a big problem with some patients, they fall asleep, but then they can't stay asleep. They wake up 2 or 3 hours later, and then they can go back to sleep. That's in some ways harder to treat, generally speaking. And so those patients, you will actually have to give them a form that is either, that's basically an edible form, whether it's a gummy or a capsule. My preference usually for capsules, it's a little more precise, but you know, gummies can work too. You just have to swallow them instead of chewing and keeping in the mouth. So sublingual drops is what I prefer generally. Either that or vaporizing dry flower for some patients who are kind of comfortable with that. And the route for sleep if you need to fall asleep, you would do a vaping of dry flower, or you will do drops under the tongue. If you need to stay asleep, let's say 3, 4, 5 hours after you went to bed, then you would want to take an edible of some sort, whether capsules or the gummies. And keep the dose. Sometimes you'll have to titrate the dose a little. So it's not uncommon, about 4 to 6 or 8 weeks in, patients will call me and say, hey, it worked great first 4 weeks and now it's not working. What do I do? We'll titrate up a little bit. The dependence is real. It's usually not high dependence. So with opioids, often people have to climb, go up, up, up. With cannabinoids, not really. You usually go up by 30, 50%, and that generally suffices. So it's very unusual for me to have somebody who would say, start with 5 milligrams and end up on 25. That's unusual. I don't think I've even remembered a case of it. One of my most amazing cases of sleep was a gentleman who came to me after he failed both Clinic-Cleveland and Mayo, and he had night terrors. It's a bad disease. So night terrors is you wake up every night and you can't go back to sleep because you had a bad dream. So this man was on like 4 different centrally acting medications, including like high dose Seroquel, which is a tranquilizer, Trazodone, Ambien, I forgot what and Zoloft. So he was on this 4 pills just to try to sort of manage this. After 3 weeks, when he got to 5 milligrams, he's like, he said basically nowadays he only takes low dose Zoloft, got off of everything. And, and he had to titrate dose. So he's the only one I remember who went from 5 to 15. So, but he also has a pretty unusual sleep disturbance, which, very few people get.
So when you're talking about 5 milligrams, is that just the THC, or is that the combo you're talking about?
It's a THC equivalent usually. The way I think, or the way we usually think, we use the THC equivalent more as a gauge of the dosing. It's much harder to do if somebody just vaping, because then you have no idea what they're actually taking, because you can know percent, but you don't know exactly how much they took. But with everything else, we kind of give them they give us an idea, because it's actually more important for us to know, because when they come back for follow-up or when we have an interaction, we need to know what the equivalent is roughly, so that we can figure out how to further assist if needed. Or if the bigger problem is not the tolerance. The bigger problem is the healthcare setup, is they go back to dispensary and it's not there. Why? Well, because whatever the reason, the grower said we didn't make this, batch ended, and now the different product is there. Dispenser is like, well, try this. They're like, wait a second, that's not the same. Concentration is different. Well, start with the same amount of THC milligrams, but impact is different, because there are different terpenes, there are different other things, there are different ratios of the cannabinoids. Terpenes are critical, by the way. Terpenes are those smell molecules, right? So everybody, like, if you walk around and people puffing and huffing, and you're like, oh, wow, somebody's smoking, right? I mean, that's the molecule that the smell is called terpenes. And then there's a variety of terpenes. When we're talking about the sleep, we're particularly looking at linalool or myrcene. So the linalool is the lavender smell, right? Yeah, believe it or not, cannabis has some lavender in there. Lavender, but that's the same smell molecule. But so those smell molecules actually augment the benefit. In fact, some people believe that the future of nomenclature, the names for cannabinoid, for the different products, will be terpene based. Right now, it's this weird recreational. You go in and say, I would like to have a blue kush or Afghan smoke. So yeah, so the future of nomenclature is probably going to be about, you're going to look at some circle and it's going to tell you, okay, there's half of the terpenes here, let's say myrcene, and the rest is like, linalool or beta-caryophyllene or whatnot. And so you will know that for your particular condition, this is the map that's the best. So it's not quite here yet, but there's a lot of discussions about moving it that way, because let's say you go from Chicago to Olympia and Washington State, and you need to get same products, but they can't be made in the same state. They have to be, in different state. They have to be grown in a state where you're selling them for now, because of the federal regulations. And so you may not find exact same product, but you can look at the terpene map and say, okay, well, I know this works for me. It's a future, but I hope it happens, because right now this whole name thing is a mess because, and funny thing is the blue cushion in one area may be quite a little different from another one. And so when they extract it and put it in a, say, sublingual form into fecal full extract cannabis oil drops, then it may actually be a little bit different. And patients may say, oh, well, that doesn't work as this, why? And dispensers say, well, different batch. And that's actually, from practical perspective, one of the biggest problems for patients at the moment is this constantly changing products. Like, you know, if you prescribe Ambien to your patient, you're not gonna worry about what they're gonna get in 2 months from the moment you prescribe it. It'll be the same exact Ambien.
Right.
Industry is trying to self-change that. There are several companies like Liberties, one, for example, is trying to say, look, we're going to make a pharmacological grade. So we're going to make this product, it's going to look exactly the same every batch. And so if you've gotten this Serenity capsules, they will be identical to what you took 2 months ago. And there's no chance of the difference. So that's really the goal. The long-term goal should really be, can we get to that point of assuring that the consistency between the batches is less than, say, 5% or whatever it is. That's standard for pharmaceutical. I think it's 15%. But because right now the differences can be so great that the patients call me back and say, what happened? My insomnia is back because I can't take that, or whatever. Pain is back. They're doing well, and then you start working with them. So that brings me to the next point, which is it's extremely labor intensive. So we tend to work very closely with, we have a cannabis coach in our practice, and we're also partnering with this Acute on Chronic, which is a great nursing company, and they see patients all over the country, because often if the patient come to me after they got my book, but they live in state where I don't have licensing privileges, because it's not only licensing, you also have to have a DEA certificate to write for the cannabis. And so let's say they come from Illinois, where I have a wonderful partner, Leslie Mendoza Temple. We do a lot of work together. So I can just send patients to her. But if the patient is, I don't know, Wisconsin, then I have to rely on some other structures. So acute on chronic come really important, because then you have to rely on someone to coach the patients what they're going to get in the dispensary. So I can give them some basic tools. They can also get the book for sleep. There's a whole sleep chapter, so they can find out, okay, I'm going to start with 1:1 CBD to THC, a couple of drugs, but they also should hear as exactly what they have in a local dispensary. So for that, some kind of coaching is essential. It's also a very simple reality that there's just not enough docs who know enough, and generally most of those docs tend to not take insurances, because we're all kind of scared what's going to happen if somebody audits our charts and you prescribe or recommend cannabis. It's not a federally regulated substance. You're not going to lose your license, but they may say, look, it's not covered service, you cannot bill insurance for this. I do that in university level because I get referrals from my colleagues all the time, so I do bill Medicare, Medicaid for that, but I can't see everybody. So we need more doctors who are willing to learn, and unfortunately there are very few. There's a big shortage of physicians who understand this topic enough to actually work closely with it. Writing a card is easy. What's difficult, what comes after that, when you start getting phone calls and saying, oh, they just overdosed me. I'll never forget, in the first year, it's an insomnia case. I had a patient who came to me who wanted to try, so we put her on a regimen, worked amazingly well, except 3 months later, I get a call from my emergency room with attending and the whole background laughing, saying, Dr. Kogan, we have a patient of yours who claims that she's dead. So well, she came back from the vacation, forgot to shake the tincture. And so sediment went down. It was at the end. She took the same volume, but it was much more concentrated. So she overdosed, got really scared, went to the hospital, told them she's dead or she's dying. She wasn't dying. She wasn't dead. Everything was fine. But so the point is, the overdoses are pretty common so there's a lot of intricacies. And so you have to really talk to patients and make sure that they understand it. And then there's but back and forth, so they can have access to you if stuff comes up, because it's not. And also, a lot of people end up on more than one product. So you have to also, like, there could be a product for the morning. Let's say that they have fibro, for example, right? So you have your chronic pain that you want to manage. So you would take something stimulating, something that's not sleep inducing in the morning. And you may take that as a, let's say, I wouldn't take that in the morning as a gummy. You would probably want to take it as a vape, because you want a quick relief and you want it to kind of a smooth on and off and quick. So that let's say you may need to function and you don't want to have your cognitive stuff impacted at all. So you may want to control your pain, but then a couple hours later, you still have partial control, but let's say you have to do something, drive somewhere or whatnot. So, and then at night, you may want to take a gummy, because you need to help you sleep and stay asleep. If you just vape it before you go to bed, it's not going to last enough for you for 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So often people end up 2-3 products easy. And often for cost saving, I could say, look, don't buy CBD from dispensary, it's too expensive. You can get CBD online at the fraction of the cost, or I can prescribe them Epidiolex. But then if they need THC, they'll have to get that from dispensary.
Oh, because you can't get it online.
Well, and we can talk about this. It's not really part of what you do, but there's this whole also issue of side effects, right? So the cannabis, remember what I said in the beginning, J curve. So if you can treat fatigue with a perfect dose, sleep, pain, and other, and actual quality of life. Actually, we do know there was just a study that I was reviewing with one of my students from Israel in 2019, and they did a really good analysis, and the quality of life, including fatigue and fiber, improved dramatically in 80% of patients. So that's consistent with what we see. But anyway, if you take too much, guess what? I mean, everybody knows what the stoner look like, right? I mean, they're hungry, eyes red shut, and they look totally like cognitively impaired and barely moving because they're so fatigued, right? Well, that's an overdose. So remember, the thing you're treating, you're going to cause the same thing if you take too much. So this whole idea of how could that happen, quite unclear in a way, except that probably when you take too much, the body has a hard time dealing with breaking down the active molecules. The most classic example is the nausea. So this common nowadays, used to be really rare condition called hyperemesis syndrome, where patients come into emergency room vomiting nonstop. And turns out cannabis causes that when they take a lot. So they overstimulate on the cannabinoid system, and instead of controlling nausea at lower doses for, say, cancer or just chronic vomiting and nausea, or even in pregnancy. And I'm not afraid of saying that, because I had prescribed cannabis for pregnancy just in our own hospital, because often it's a horrible situation when a woman vomits nonstop and no medication work. And actually cannabis can be the safest choice. But so if you take too much, you actually can induce the vomiting. The same exact for your listeners. If you take too much, you actually can cause the fatigue, and it often comes in with a depressed mood. So if they overdose it, they may, the next day especially, they may feel lethargic, fatigued, and depressed. So that's how you overdosed, and you should really kind of taper things down, give yourself a couple of days taking nothing, and then restart at much lower dose. So those are some of the basic principles of the not overdosing.
So if I was going to dip my toe into doing more of this, and I was going to work with a product that was online, sounds like it would most likely be CBD, would not be THC.
Yeah, I think starting with CBD is very wise, because your patients probably, their big issue is going to be some inflammation, maybe anxiety, maybe like this neuroexcitation. So giving something that's a little like calming and anti-inflammatory would be very good. And you also don't care what state they're in, right? You can't have license in every state.
Right.
You can just have them buy, and there's so many good shops now, and if you care, I can give you the names of what I use. But interestingly, I don't use any big brands. The reason is I work a lot with Medicaid population, so all of my partners that I work with, they all have what's called compassion program, where they give a major 30 to 50% discount, because that's the population that often kind of hardest to buy the products. And cannabis is expensive. wherever, whether you're buying THC containing products from dispensary or CBD products online. The problem is CBD per milligram is a lot cheaper, but you have to take a lot more. 5 milligrams of THC for pain could be the solution, but you may need 200, 300, 400 milligrams of CBD for the same type of pain. And so it's not an equivalent dosing, and since I'm on this, most of the time we mix. Most of the time we don't just use one active ingredient. We tend to mix things. Like we often talk about this ratios, like THC predominant or CBD predominant, or balanced, like 1:1 THC to CBD. And of course, there's all these other cannabinoids, acidic forms, the CBDA, CBGA, THCA, and then like others, like the newer ones, CBG, and then there's this whole legal high, THC8, THCV, THCO, THC10. They're like, well, people get creative. They extract the synthetic molecules out of hemp, and it's a problem. So I'm talking about problems more nowadays.
So then in terms of the sleep and using the CBD, is CBD the best, CBN, CBG?
It's individual. Some people will do great with a little bit of CBD, like little, probably start, for me, little would start at 25 milligrams or 30 and then go up to whatever is needed. But I usually default to THC, and that's what I learned from Dustin, but also that's just because my experience. I tend to have a lot of really sick patients, and I find that CBD works for only a few things. It has a calming effect, so it definitely works for anxiety and panic attacks, and it has long-term anti-inflammatory impact, but that takes weeks and months. If I have a patient with tons of symptoms, the pain, the nausea, the vomiting, sleep, fatigue, like I'd probably default to THC. I may give a little bit of CBD at the same time to kind of, and then may titrate it up. Or I may just pick a very high CBD ratio, like 10 or 20:1 to THC. CBD generally is really a good idea for patients who are really afraid of side effects of THC, because it seems to modulate down the chances of getting side effects of THC. And at the same time, it seems to, at times, decrease efficacy of THC. So you take enough CBD, you may actually offset some of the THC effect for pain. So some people, they really don't need much of CBD, and that's misunderstanding, because it's everybody's saying, oh, get the CBD gummy, your pain is gonna go away. That's a magical thinking. I mean, most of the claims about CBD out there are false. I say that 90% are false. So when you're looking at some companies saying our product will help you with this, and chances are it's a BS. There are a few specific exceptions, which probably beyond this podcast, but I talk about this in the book.
Nice. And so what are some of those companies that you like to use?
Well, I use primarily two. So Lily Hill CBD, the tiny company in Vermont. I've been with them for a very long time. They're just very boutique and produce very high quality organic products, just a few products. And then the Miriam Hemp Shop, which is probably the more preferred one, because it has a much larger repertoire. There are many more products. And then I also like this company that does pure CBDA, as in an apple. So I use a lot of CBDA because I have a lot of people with chronic arthritis in my practice, just older folks. And CBDA is great. It's basically substitution for Motrin. You take enough, it'll substitute for Motrin. And I hate NSAIDs, just passionately hate NSAIDs, unless it's my teenagers who are running in a field being hit by the soccer ball. If you're over 55, you probably shouldn't take any NSAIDs. The risk is just too great, especially with chronic use. So I tend to switch all of my patients who come to me to the CBDA first, titrate the dose and see how they respond. It used to be expensive, a bigger problem with cost. Nowadays, like Planetary is a great pricing. It's very good products, and they tend to work really well. And then, of course, and then the last one is, of course, can't believe I forgot this, is healer.com. So healer.com, they have THC products in Maryland and in Maine, but there's a Healer CBD. And the Healer CBD is probably a top medical line. Again, I use less of it because it's much more expensive, but you also get better products. But the things like CBD Plus, Charlotte's Web, so those are some great companies There are also a lot of really good European companies. I think Indoca is one that I used in the past, but they all seem to be a lot more pricey, and that's the big problem with them.
Mm-hmm. Would you say there's an equivalent CBD versus 200 milligrams of Motrin? How many
Not
milligrams?
CBD, CBDA. So
Oh,
I would
CBDA.
say that 200 milligrams of Motrin will be equivalent to somewhere around 20 to 30 milligrams of CBDA. So it's about 10 to 1. That's how I think about it. So if I need to give somebody 800 milligrams of Motrin, then I would probably go with at least 100 milligrams of CBDA. The good news about CBDA, there's almost no side effects. You can give a huge doses and not have any issues. Every other cannabinoid, whether it's CBD, it can cause a little bit depression, it can a little bit kind of down feeling, and sometimes even a little bit of nausea. CBG, which is now heavily propagated for chronic pain, and I agree with that, it's a decent pain tool, but that can cause severe nausea, and I've seen it, and also dizziness. Like the CBG is a problematic one if you titrate too fast. THC for sure, I mean, THC can all kinds of side effects. But acidic forms seem to be the safest for whatever reason. They very well tolerated, and for some not clear reason to me, they heavily underutilized both in clinical practice and in research. I think the biggest problem is it's hard to make them, and nowadays it's a little easier, but it's hard to make them into a stable format. And in research, your batches have to last for your whole project. So I think that probably is one of the problems, is that back in the day, making acidic form stable for 12 months was just difficult. Now I think that problem in the last couple of years have been solved. So we're probably going to see rapid increase in acidic research. But it's I think the future are going to be acidic forms, CBG, and CBDV. So those are the molecules that I think are going to be hugely important in the future, and particularly for your patients, because those are the molecules that have a strong anti-inflammatory impact, neuroprotective effects, and mitochondrial boosting effects. And it's not exactly clear what it's in the future, it's all going to be about combinations and ratios. And that's the part that a lot of us who do this sufficiently kind of playing and experimenting. And so, if any of your listeners are really big on sort of names and want to follow a bunch of people, like I'd say, for science, follow Doctors for Cannabis Regulation and people like Peter Greenspoon. Those are the voices that are very sophisticated and very good. For clinical practice, like renovations and Dustin Sulak and healer.com, I think those are like the top. And then I think Bonnie Goldstein works closely with Dustin also. So that's like they're forming this really advanced clinical pathways. So those are the people I follow very closely. And then there's this company called Society of Cannabis Clinicians. So you can look up in your area if your practitioner who you want to go to is certified by Cannabis Clinician Society. And that's a really good training program, and it's nonprofit. So because there's a lot of for-profit cannabis training, which there are university trainings. Like we don't have one at GW, but Jefferson has a program. University of Maryland has a great program. University of Vermont, of course, Colorado University has a very famous program. But those are more for like actual. Well, some of them, University of Maryland, anybody can join the program. You don't have to have a license of any kind. You can just be a coach and you can take the program and get expertise. So I think right now, if your listeners really want to find a practitioner they want to work with, I wouldn't get hung up whether they have a license of some sort. It's just important that they have a good training. I've worked with and know a lot of coaches who don't have any formal education, rather than they were a Reiki practitioner, and then they said, look, this helped me, I want to learn. They went in I have no problem with that at all. It's better than what often happens in dispensary. You walk in there and you have a 20-year-old in college who tries to make a buck, who will tell my 85-year-old, oh yeah, just take this 20 milligram gummy. It worked great for me yesterday for the party. And then the next morning, Grammy calls because she hasn't been sleeping for 48 hours with a zombified eyes like this. so the level of education in the field, in the industry, is all over the place. Some states like Illinois, Connecticut, I mean, those states require pharmacists on staff. Maryland just put this very big teaching program that every dispensary must have like a educator director on staff to teach all the staff what to say to patients. But some states, like, this is a total wild west. I always pick on Virginia because they're next to me and we don't like them. but like, no, but they're like conservative state, right? So their program is the last in our area, and it's the worst and very like reductionistic and whatever. But so their dispensaries are, boy, I mean, I've had problems with them. It's changing too slow. So find yourself a good coach, I say, especially if you can afford one. And they're usually much cheaper than you and I, because they're generally in, especially those who don't have like a formal medical training or something.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Kogan, I so appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge with us. If people want to come see you, if they want to learn more about what you're doing, where's the best place online to go?
gwcim.com. You can put that in the links to the, and then also, like, I have a YouTube channel. It's just Misha Kogan MD, or Dr. Misha Kogan. You'll find me there. I tend to post lots of things on cannabis. It's definitely not my only topic of interest, but I do. And people can also email me. I'm Kogan@gwcim.com if you want to just directly send me a message. And
then we'll also include the link to your book.
Great.
Which can be found
the self-cover. Yep, self-cover just came out a couple of months ago, so that's a little bit. It's updated. We added some stuff in there. We added some COVID stuff. We added some a little bit on CBDV of newest. That's one of my kind of more favorites molecules, and a little bit more on acidic forms. But and it's cheaper. Cheaper. I don't know how they price the books. It's kind of a mystery. Random House, I worked with several publishers by now. Random is the best, but it's still like a lot of like mystery about how things happen. It's like this black box. I was like, why can't we make this book a little cheaper? Because more people will buy it. They're like, no. It's not a big book. It's a pretty thin book. I only have hardcover. Oh, here. Yeah, I have a soft cover, and it's not that thick. It's $18 for this. Overpriced, in my opinion.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I so appreciate the work you're doing in the world.
Same with you. Huge fan of your work.
Thanks. I hope you learned something on today's podcast. If you did, please share it with your friends and family and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. It's really helpful for getting this information out to more people who desperately need it. Sharing all the experts I know and love and the powerful tips I have is one of my absolute favorite things to do. Thanks for being part of my community. Just a reminder, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional. It is provided with the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services. Thanks for listening, and have an amazing day.